Hello and welcome to Takeover, a League of Legends 1v1 tournament which marks the internal launch of NESA. Joining me is the famous Jawad J. Jawad, how are you doing
Hello.
today?
I'm doing all right, Chef. What about you? Are you ready to cast?
Yeah, I'm excited for some 1v1s. But for our viewers at home, you'll probably have some questions. One of them being, what is NESA? So let's go into the details a bit about what NESA actually is. So NESA is an organization set up by alumni for alumni. We aim to bring a unique yet familiar esports experience for those who have graduated from university. Right now, there's a gap for those who still want to compete, but there is a lack of an organized competitive platform to play on. NESA aims to bridge that gap. As well as taking on this new chapter for university esports, we strive to create opportunities for multiple paths into the esports industry. Our overall goal is to create a community for all alumni to stay connected with each other throughout their love of esports, as well as a place that they could call home. So now, Jawad, let's get into the rules for our takeover tournament. Go ahead.
Okay, for sure. So this is Takeover. It's a League 1v1 tournament that we're hosting as our first event ever. So the rules are that anything goes in terms of itemization, champions, and stuff like that. Each person has 3 bans each before they start their game, and then they'll get into champ select. Once they're in game to win, you have to get at least 2 kills on an opponent. Execution counts as a kill for the opposite person. So obviously you don't want to execute. There has to be something to stop them from doing that.
Yep.
So 2 kills, 1 turret, or 100 TS. Those are the 3 win conditions. You have to meet either one of them, and that would meet you at the top. The first is a best of 3 for the semi-finals, and then the finals is a best of 5.
Perfect. Let's jump into the bracket and see who we've actually got playing today. So,
Sure.
first game will be Chicken God versus Lodge in the best of 3 semi-final. And shortly after that will be Mist versus Wu in the second semi-final. Both of those are best of 3, and the winners of those will move on to the final, which is a best of 5. So, Jared, what can you tell me about Chicken God and Lodge so far?
So obviously Lodge has just been dominating in the bracket. He's just won against everyone he's played against. Yeah, so Lodge is current skill is he is plat 1, but obviously with a few games played, obviously his skill level is quite a lot higher than that. So obviously diamond. He flexes around mid and top when he plays in solo queue, which he has done this season. And Chicken God, he's a support main, so it's a little bit different variety, I think. So obviously Chicken God plays more in a duo role, so he plays with another person rather than a solo 1v1.
Yep.
But he can flex around quite a bit. He's plat right now, and he's definitely played on a lot of teams, same as Lodge in the null and other tournaments as such. So it's going to be an interesting bracket. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, obviously 1v1s are very different to actual League of Legends. There's a lot of teamwork in the game of League, and when it comes down to 1v1s, it's a completely different ballpark, isn't it, Jared?
It is 1v1 is it doesn't rely 100% on skill. Like some of it is luck as well. Like because obviously it's blind pick, you don't discuss what you're going against and what you're choosing, unless they want to pick the same champion. Obviously, they can do that. Um, but it can be a difference between someone randomly picks a counter pick to a champion that someone randomly picked. So it is a little bit of luck, but there's quite a bit of skill in this, and there's not too much of a skill gap between plat and diamond, especially in 1v1s.
Yeah, it comes down to the mechanics of the lane. Obviously, a mid laner's role in League is to set the tempo of the game, um, it, and make like the crucial rotations and get pickoffs and stuff. But in a 1v1 tournament, that's completely different. It's all based on your actual 1v1 laning mechanics, of the game. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys get on. Obviously, ranks do come into account to some degree when it comes to mechanics, but I think this could go either way, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. We have seen it in the past where obviously streamers would lose against bronzes and silvers, so it can on their main
Anything's
champions
possible.
as well. So anything's possible. Yeah. Obviously, diamond and plat. There's not too much of a difference between that, so I
Yeah.
think it'll be close. Obviously, in the best of three, you can adapt to what the other people are selecting and stuff like that. And then there's also bans, and you just ban out what the other person played last time in case you don't want to play against it again.
Yeah.
Adapting is pretty important to this.
So let's look at the matchup we have here. So Lodge has gone for Tristana as his pick, and Chicken God has responded with Wukong mid. So can you tell me a
Yeah.
bit about this matchup? What can we expect to see?
So Tristana would usually go in for a little bit of poke every now and then. But the main key that I think from this is 100 CS or a turret. So Tristana is a masterclass, shows a masterclass at killing turrets. Um, like one of her abilities, she can just place on the turret. That's it. That turret is going to be taken down pretty quickly,
So
especially if she gets quite a few autos on it.
could we see a turret strat come through?
Yeah,
So
we
do
are
you think the
definitely
primary
seeing
goal
that.
for Lodge's win condition is to go for this turret? Is he playing the long con? He's playing
Uh,
kind of safe.
that would be the primary, yes, because obviously Chicken God, he's chosen Wukong. So Wukong is really good at jumping in and then jumping out quickly after that. So he's got a really good all-in. You can use all his ability in one and easily be able to kill Tristana at 6. It just depends on Tristana and when she rocket jumps as well, because the rocket jump is a really good disengage tool against a jump in from Wukong.
Yes, exactly. It's all about that
Rocket.
distance that Tristana can keep. As long as Tristana keeps the distance from Wukong and not getting caught out at all, I think Tristana may have the poke advantage during this 1v1. But it is
Yeah,
two deaths to for a victory, so Chicken God is gonna have to kill Lodge twice in order to win. It'll be interesting to see if he can do that before Tristana either hits 100 CS or actually gets that turret kill.
yeah.
Um, on paper,
Obviously, yeah, it is ranged versus melee. So on paper,
yeah, exactly.
it is ranged, um, like it goes towards them. But there is quite a few tools that Wukong can use, so he can like use his clone, um, when he's jumping out as well, so he can disengage as well, just as good as Tristana can. It's just if the Tristana gets a kill, that's going to be a lot of damage down on the turret. So you've got to you've got to play this strategically and wait until your power spike.
Yes. Obviously, both players won't be able to back as well during this 1v1 unless they die, where they can
Yeah,
buy some items and
that's when they
hopefully
fight. Yeah,
turn the
exactly.
tide. So what starting items do you think we'll see from Lodge on the
So
Tristana?
obviously there is the Howling Abyss items. So those are the most powerful items in Howling Abyss. So
Yeah.
and they're pretty cheap, so they give the most benefit to you. Um, we'll look at the items a little bit. So you can choose between what you want to do with your items. So you can either buy a component item and eventually get enough gold and then die intentionally.
Yep.
And then you can complete a mythic item, which is a huge boost. And that would give you a way bigger power spike than any Howling Abyss item.
All right, here we are into
Or
the game now.
yeah,
Both
look at that.
players have loaded in. Everyone starts level 3 to start with. Interesting pickup from Chicken God. He's gone for the snowball instead of flash. Oh, we could see an early engagement incoming
It
from
is.
Chicken
I
God.
think he just wants to see the game end quickly.
Oh, he's going
Oh,
all in
he
right
just
here.
face
He
checked.
just
Okay, Lodge
oh
just face
Lodge
checked
is
into a
and
bush
Lodge is
and
taken
takes
out
a
straight
lot of damage
away.
from that. Oh, and he jumps on with the stone wall. He jumps in again. He's used ignite. Oh, and that is first blood.
Damn, what a
First
play!
blood by Chicken God.
That
He
he's killed him
first.
before the minions
So
even
the way
spawn.
he did that, he first jumped in. So Lodge face checked into a turret, and then Chicken God just all in on him. and then he used this clone to get out so that Lodge couldn't get much damage down. Threw the snowball while he was running away, so obviously that's a guaranteed hit. And then jumped back in when his Q was back on off cooldown and just got the kill with Ignite.
I mean, that's a huge advantage now. He's got a bit
That
of
was really
XP.
well played. Yeah, so now even if Chicken God dies, he has a gold advantage.
Right.
This is looking pretty bad for Lodge because Chicken God could die now and get a decent item, whereas Lodge's death didn't count for anything.
Oh, it seems like Chicken God is engaging again onto Lodge, getting a lot of damage done.
He's
Lodge
getting a
does
lot of
disengage,
damage
but
done.
he's coming back into kill, and he gets the kill onto
Yeah,
Chicken
and he gets
God.
the kill. Lodge gets
Okay,
the
that's completely turned this game around. It was not looking good start for Lodge there.
Obviously, Chicken God can now obviously buy an item, but because Lodge with his itemization, he bought a Vamp Scepter, so he got a bit of sustain. He doesn't get damaged much, and cloth armor, so Wukong doesn't have as much all-in potential. Now that Lodge is 6, he has an XP advantage, so
Oh, that is huge. Hitting 6
it's
first in
a risky
1v1
jump in.
is...
But the Lodge can just ult him out. Oh, and he uses Snowball at the right time as well.
Oh, Chicken God's
they're both
engaging
trading,
again.
Both trading. Lodge flashes. Ooh,
Oh, Chicken
and
God comes
they
back
both
though.
get
Lodge
out.
is so low. Is he gonna die? He
Oh.
flashes away. Oh my
Yeah,
god, Chicken God could not get the
really
last hit onto him.
can't.
Oh, that was so close.
It was
And
extremely
that's
close.
pre-level 6 for Chicken God, and he almost killed him
It
there
is,
with
yeah. Now
the
that he's level
snowball.
6, it should be a lot more in the favor.
Oh,
of
I think he
Wukong.
had the ignite as well.
With the Vamp Scepter, Lodge just needs to. He had Ignite on
Oh,
cooldown.
okay, it was on
So he
cooldown.
had used it. Oh, and now Chicken God jumps in. He's going in for the final combo, and that is the game.
Yeah, there you go. The ult comes out, touches them up, and that's
Yeah.
the first game goes to Chicken
That
God.
is the first game. That goes to Chicken
That's
God.
showing clearly like ranks don't really mean too much in
Wukong is
1v1s.
really strong, yeah. So obviously it is the choice of champion. Because of the initial kill that Chicken God got onto Lodge, it did cause a bit of a swing towards him.
Yeah.
Because obviously once Wukong's level 6, then there's not much counterplay for the Tristana except from the rocket jump out, which you would have to perfectly time. Yeah, it is.
So yeah.
It is going to be an interesting series, I think.
So first game goes to Chicken God. He's got that first game under his belt now. He probably, the nerves are probably out the way at this point. And now we're going into our second game. We'll see what sort of choices that hero choices Lodge and Chicken will go for. Do you think Lodge will go back to Tristana after that performance? It seemed a bit all in.
He might go for a more all-in champion because farming against, or he might decide to ban the Wukong. We don't know. Obviously, marksman can be strong. Like Tristana is pretty strong in general. It's just against these kind of champions that she struggles against. Because obviously, Wukong has enough CC to knock her out of the rocket jump as well. With his
Yeah,
ult.
I think it was a bit too much over aggression right at the start because he kind of gave the first blood away for nothing.
It was a little bit. So
Face checking that
he
bush and
yeah,
punished
Lodge
for
was
it.
pretty late getting to lane, so he didn't respect that the Wukong could be inside the bush. So it was a pretty big mistake to make.
All right, we'll just see as the players are going for their bans. Oh, here we go, loading in right now. Be interesting to see what Chicken God goes for. I think he could just go for Wukong again.
Yeah, he could go for the same champion,
seemed
unless
very
obviously
strong.
you have 3 bans, so they decide upon that. So the Wukong, I'm assuming, is probably banned this game because there's no counterplay to that, except from if you want to pick an all-in champion. Both of these are support mains.
Be interesting to see what they pick. It seems like Chicken might be going for Lee Sing here, and Lodge is looking towards the Riven.
Possibly. These are both pretty big engaged champions.
Yeah. I
Riven,
think
obviously, with the advantage because of all the utility she has. She has a shield, a knock up, a stun as well, so it's quite a bit of utility in the Riven.
Yeah, I think
we will see.
The meta probably in this tournament has been just to all in and go for the quick engage and get those kills and get the game done. I don't think we've seen turret kill or a 100 CS game yet. That seems like a prerequisite, just an option if you want to go for it. But it seems like
So
the
let's go.
more
Yeah, let's go through what you'd have to do to hit 100 CS. So if you want to hit 100 CS, you should pick someone like a marksman or someone that can control the whole lane. You would have to have usually have range over your opponent to be able to hit the 100 CS, but you would have to have someone that can damage um, the other opponent enough to keep them away from the lane and keep them from trying to go all in on you.
that's what
So
Lodge was trying to do, I think, in the first game, but got a bit
yeah,
unlucky
but
there.
yeah, initially it was the one pick that decided upon what was going to happen at the start.
Yep.
Because obviously, as soon as Chicken God died, he got a longsword and he got a cloth armor, which basically doubles what um, Lodge had.
All right, let's look into the champ selections of our players. We have Chicken God on the Lucian this time.
Yeah.
And
So
what can we expect from that, Jared?
so Lucian is a pretty all-in champion, but he can also lane from or CS from afar. He has quite high mana costs, so it can be pretty bad, depending on the amount of spells that you use.
Yep.
But in general, if Lucian gets on top of you, you're pretty much lost.
I mean, in this 1v1 matchup, mana cost isn't actually that big of a deal, right? So if he alls in on Lucian and gets the kill, he can just
Yeah,
waste his
yeah,
life,
he can just
respawn, full
yeah,
mana, gets the gold advantage, and then can go
yeah, it
straight
is
back
true.
into the next engagement.
But the
Um,
thing with Ezreal is he can just arcane shift away, so he's a really safe champion to farm on. Uh, he's pretty good with his abilities at damaging turrets, depending on if the Lucian gives him prio, if he lands enough poke.
yep.
So this is a poke champion versus a pretty engaged champion, but they can both win with the farming win condition.
Yeah, they're both ADC carry. They can just sit there and farm, but we'll see how aggressive they tend to get in these 1v1s. So far from that first game, it looks like both players are playing very aggressive. Any opportunity
It
they had,
does seem like that.
they were engaging on each other. Which is
Yeah.
kind of unexpected for your first game. You thought you'd play it more safe, but it seems like everyone just wants to, go for each
I mean,
other
to be
and get
honest,
the
there
kills.
there are people were going in at their power spikes, you know. So obviously, level 3 is a pretty huge power spike for a lot of champions. Some of them champions you need to get at least the ult, but these type of champions, Solution level 3, really really strong. Ezreal will be a little bit of a question mark as to his strength. He won't be strong early, but he will play into the game as a poker and a farmer.
Right.
So it does depend on what the
There's a lot of
people
outplay
do with
potential, I
them.
feel here. Um,
Yeah,
Especially with Ezreal, you can do your blink.
yeah.
Um,
Ezreal's not looking to fight early though. I think
his
he's
power's like
just
more level
looking
six
for.
once he's got a bit of farm. It can got the
Um,
levels.
I think the main thing about Ezreal is you want to land a bit of poke. So before you actually even try going all in, you have to land at least 2, 3 Qs, get a bit of damage down, and then maybe you can get the execute. But before then, it's going to be a difficult lane.
All right, loading in now.
Yeah.
Something
So
interesting.
if you speed it up, then it will both be at the same time, I think. So press the plus at the bottom
Two
to
times
speed it
speed.
up a little bit. Yeah, just speed it up all the way, and then eventually it'll become 1 times.
Okay,
All
awesome.
right,
So
so let's look at some
interesting.
items.
Summoner spells. Lodge has gone for the shield and ignite, so no flash. But I'm guessing that's because he has an ability that can give him some mobility.
Yeah. So they've both gone with the Howling Abyss items. Obviously, Lodge wouldn't want to face check this again. He was late out again, but he is walking up, and
Oh, he's getting some poke
Chicken
from
God
Chicken.
is landing a lot of poke onto him. The barrier comes out from the Ezreal, and then they just disengage.
It's an early barrier too, and Chicken's
So
not done here. He wants to get as
yeah,
much rat as he can.
Chicken is just getting as much damage as he can do now, and so obviously the mana is coming into play right now. Like Chicken God, less than half mana already. Lodge, he can just walk up, hit a little bit of champions, and that's pretty much it. They've both gone with Howling Abyss items. Life Steal on Lodge, and more AD and health, and CDR on Lucian with the Guardian's Blade.
Yep.
There's no healing pots on Lodge's side
Yeah, I think he's burnt
anymore.
through all of them just
He has
now
burned
after
through them.
that first engagement.
But obviously, with the runes, fleet footwork, that gives you a little bit of healing after you've powered up with your energy. And he's also gone with Resolve as his secondary so that he can tank more damage. Whereas Lucian, he's gone with a more aggressive build. He's gone with press the attack. So obviously, you go that with Lucian. Oh, quite a bit of
Ooh,
power landed there by Lodge.
that was a
So
huge trade.
Lucian dashes in, tries to land 2 autos, but Lodge lands the E onto him and Qs straight after, landing quite a bit of damage.
Oh, he
Lodge landed
landed.
quite a lot of Qs onto him.
Oh, and he's gonna steal the health rune
And he's also
too.
taken the health relic, but the Lucian dashes into the health relic, gets a bit of health back, but this is controlled by Lodge.
Yeah, this seems like a much better performance after that first game. It seems like he's kind of
Definitely.
dominating, kind of bullying Reese out the lane here. So
Yes, yeah. So this is the main thing about Ezreal. You just want to land as much perk as you can. Oh, the Lucian dashes in again. It was
Ooh.
very risky because if the Lodge landed the E, it would have been pretty bad. Lucian lands the ult. He does have to cancel because he just Lodge just arcane chips out. Lodge now has ult.
Oh, and
If
it
he
will
landed the
miss.
ult,
Oof.
then it would have been good, but because the E, obviously, you do more damage with it. But obviously, in the bush, you can't really see where the opponent's going, and
Yeah.
it's just a return out.
It seems like Lodge is really pushing this advantage of the mobility, with the being able to dodge some of these skill shots coming in from Chicken God, especially with the ult
Yeah,
right there. He can
exactly.
just dodge, you can just blink straight out of it, and Chicken can't really do much about that.
He does, yeah. So you can dodge the damage of the.
Oh,
Oh, Lodge
Lodge!
takes a turret hit from that, and they both going on each other, and they both end up
Oh,
dying.
that's so unfortunate. I think if
Okay,
Lodge,
so if Lodge didn't take that turret shot, that would have been a clear win by him.
yeah, he took
But
that
because of
extra
that
tower shot,
that extra
put him
damage,
into low range, and just got
yeah.
finished off
So
in the end. So
Reese here, he saves his flash. He doesn't really need to use it because he's already right on top of Lodge. Lodge ends up using the barrier, but the barrier is worthless because of that turret shot. So
true,
it basically
yeah.
tanks no damage for him. Both ignites come out and it is reset.
Now they're now on kind of even
Um,
terms now because the just both respawning full HP. Got a bit of gold from that as well. I
yeah,
think
it is
that
quite
might have
even
been a
right now.
slight misplay from Lodge. He was winning that engagement at the start.
It was, but he arcane shifted into the turret, which did make him lose that trade. Obviously, this is there are still minions, so Reese farming pretty well. He's got 33 CS, dashes in, comes to nothing because he's too far out of range. The 2 autos are essential. Oh, and they both go in on each other, and it doesn't come to anything. Lodge arcane shifts out. Lucian jumping
Oh,
in,
the
and
big ult from Lucian!
Lodge missing his ult, and
Oh
Chicken
no!
God just jumping in, killing him with the landing almost every single shot with his ultimate. That was extremely clean by Chicken God, and that is the first series over.
Yeah, big 2-0 coming in from Chicken God. Didn't really expect that to happen, to be honest.
I did not expect that either, but he does play these kind of champions every now and then, so he's got experience with them.
Yeah.
And in a 1v1, it's all about what you can do on the day.
Exactly, and Chicken God just seemed to dominate that. I think there was a slight misplay from Lodge there, getting a bit too aggressive, taking that tower hit, which might have cost him the game there.
Yeah, it probably did. But Chicken God playing really aggressive, flashing in to Lodge when he arcane shifted, and just killing him completely, like
That was
using
a
his
huge
full
ult
spell
at the
rotation,
end.
landing. So as soon as Ezreal arcane shift, he couldn't arcane shift out the ultimate anymore. That was the problem. So
Yeah,
that
that
is where the game was won or lost.
taking advantage of that cooldown really benefited Chicken God. He got the full ult damage off. And was able
Yeah,
to clutch out the
exactly.
win. So congrats to Chicken God. He moves on to the final.